Hello, I'm Trina Medvis, the owner of Fit for Females. I've been in the fitness and wellness space since 1999. I think it's actually 1998, but it sounds better when I sing that. We are so excited here. I have our nutritionist, Alyssa, and my journey started in August of 2022. I was not feeling the greatest, and I'm a healthy fitness is my life. I eat well, I sleep well, I do all the right things. But I just found myself feeling sluggish, not the usual energy that I have. And I have three kids, I run a business. This was a big impact on my life. And I reached out, met an amazing woman that launched these little tidbits about nutrition and immune health and talked about some products. And I have been on supplements forever with a natural path. And this significantly changed my health, my energy, my body, reduced rashes. There's a whole transformation story on my blog at fitforfemales.com. And so I had to start sharing these products because I could not believe the energy, the great feelings I felt. It was like nothing I'd had before. And I'm a real stickler. I really questioned all the ingredients and different things with Alyssa. And so I've been on them forever now, and I absolutely love them. So we're in the middle of a 10-day cleanse with our clients here at Fit for Females, which is the shred program that we've added a little bit of a tweaking to, some extra little things that you can do, and you can join this anytime. So I'm going to be interviewing Alyssa, asking her some questions that will hopefully help you. We're this great team that we love to help families, individuals to just eat better, feel better, because the quality of our food just isn't what it normally is. And I also started growing my own food at home, and I do not have a green thumb. So Alyssa, please introduce yourself. I could say so many incredible things about her, but she really shoots it real. She's honest, and she has all the same values and beliefs that I had as moms to make sure that we're getting the best food that we can and nutrients into our body. So Alyssa.
Awesome. Well, thank you for inviting me on here. And I'm super excited. I love the programs and the inspiration and how you motivate people to really just continually move forward into better health and lifestyle. So my name is Alyssa Harriman. I'm a nutritionist, and I have been teaching nutrition for 18 years. I've spent 15 years of that specializing in nutritional therapy for people with cancer. I'm one of two instructors in Canada that actually teach the Nutrition and Cancer Certification Program at Edison Institute of Nutrition. So I'm a bit of a super geek, and I really believe in good scientific evidence when it comes to health and nutrition. So I tend to veer away from the trends and the fads and focus on, well, what does the evidence tell us? What does good nutrition really look like? How do we optimally fuel our body? And how do we always do our best to be in an optimal state of health? So it's really great to get to work with you and to be able to do this together with you, especially in this cleanse program.
Well, and really, Alyssa, I know you can say this because you've been in the industry for so long. Many clients, many of us are really looking for that quick fix, that fast fix. We really want to put ourselves counting the macros, go on a diet. And I've always practiced that is not at all what you want to do. We want to live a life that is, we can be social, we can go out with our friends. And so adding these little
Mhm.
tweaks are very important, whereas we're not depriving ourselves. That's the same. Would you agree that you have in your head? Yeah.
Absolutely. One of the challenges I have, there's a few challenges I have with restrictive programs. One, when we're focusing on restrictions, we're not always focusing on optimally fueling and nourishing our body. And our body needs a really wide variety of nutrients in order to be obtained every single day in order to be in an optimal state of health. So when we're in restrictions, sometimes it's more focused on the restriction versus focusing on the quality of the fuel that we're consuming. I also believe that restrictive programs really can encourage poor eating behaviors or habits, thoughts even, because when we put ourselves in these really restrictive boxes and we become obsessed with them, or we accidentally don't do it the way we were supposed to, or we find it very difficult to stick to, it really increases our negative self-talk around our diet and around our food choices. So I really want to encourage people to focus on your nutrition is essential for health. If you want to live a healthy, long life, if you want to heal and repair your body, you have to have really good nutrition in place. But nutrition should be how we take care of ourselves, how we support a good life and a good lifestyle. And none of that requires us to count calories or count macros or avoid certain food groups. In fact, it really is just focusing on foods that are more beneficial over foods that are consequential.
That's a huge testimonial. In fact, it's going to lead us into our first questions because For me, as I mentioned at the beginning, I know all the things to do. I've been in this industry forever. I only pick the top people, hence Alyssa. When I'm getting educated, I take all the self-education courses. I'm looking for continuing growth. And here I am on a mostly plant-based diet. I do eat animal products as well. But where I wasn't feeling so optimal back in August, I want to lead into the Juice Plus capsules because Alyssa introduced me to this superfoods, these supplements, and I get pitched all the time as a person to hear all the things. This is going to help you lose weight. This is great. So there's a lot of promises being made. So I was really skeptical, but very willing to try because all of these superfood capsules, all of the products for Juice Plus were so clean. And that was really important to me. So the question is, how does the Juice Plus capsules support our system overall?
I love that question. And I think it's important to understand that there's a lot of not great products in the marketplace. So that's something that a lot of people are not aware of because there's just so many options and everybody's trying to convince you that everything is the best. And what I learned in my journey in supplementation was that the most bioavailable source of nutrients for our body actually come from food. So the reality is we can't out supplement a bad diet. We have to eat enough of the right foods in order for us to live in a healthy body. So that really is the focus, right? Like, is our diet good? That's the most bioavailable source of nutrients. Now, the reality is we do have gaps. All of us have gaps, whether it's stress, busy lifestyle, we've recently fought a virus, maybe we have toxic exposure that requires additional nutrients to help our body clean out. Maybe we just, have these gaps genetically. So we all have gaps in our diet, which is where supplementation comes in. What makes Juice Plus different than other products in the marketplace is Juice Plus is actually made of food. So think juicing, no sugar, no water. You've got concentrated variety of 30 powdered fruits and veg that we're using to fill the gaps in our diet. So we know it's bioavailable. When we look at singular or isolated vitamins or multivitamin formulas, you're looking at products that are lab made. And we know that the bioavailability is poor. We can tell by the color of our urine when we take those products that, we don't get glow in the dark pea when we eat a salad because the nutrients in foods are more bioavailable. So the reason I like the Juice Plus products versus all of the other products on the marketplace, and this is really the only product line I've ever recommended in my practice, is because I know that your body is going to recognize it, it's going to absorb it, and that there's just a much larger spectrum of nutrients and whole foods than we can manufacture in a lab. The other thing that really made the difference about the Juice Plus products for me was the fact that there was some really good clinical evidence to back them up. So we had really reputable schools like Harvard and Yale and University of Toronto and MD Anderson, which is one of the top cancer research universities, doing this double-blind placebo-controlled research, placebo group versus supplemented group with the Juice Plus products. And the evidence was so compelling that it actually ended up being published in clinical and medical journals. And that is something that really matters to me as a practitioner. I want to see some good scientific evidence that the products that you're consuming are going to have a positive outcome on your health. And that's what's very unique about these products is we've actually proven not only are they bioavailable, but there is positive outcomes for people who use these types of products. Again, in addition to a healthy diet, but there's positive outcomes for them.
And it's always food first. Let's be really clear about that. And then bridging that gap. So 2 things I want to say to that. One, I had blood work both at the beginning when I started to take my Juice Plus capsules. And so I've had it twice since. And it's the first time in 3+ years, I think it was at the time, that my markers were amazing because I've been, compromised in different things. So my journey is a little bit different than a lot of other people that would be on these products. I was blown away. I remember the day I actually started crying because I've been taking supplements. I've been doing all the healthy foods, but those capsules made a real difference in my blood work. That was unbelievable. There was nothing was different. That was the only thing that was different. And secondly, I have a client who took her son, he is 17, to a naturopath, and he's been on the Juice Plus capsules and the chewables and the complete protein powder since about the end of August. The naturopath could not believe at his markers. This is somewhere they go all the time and said, whatever you're doing, keep it up. So she actually mentioned it to him. But it's just proof to say, some of us can't measure how we feel. We can't get all, we know we feel better, but there's proof right in there in the capsules. And I just wanted to ask how you said, because this was another question, what is bioavailability? Can you explain
Mm.
that to us?
Absolutely. And just kind of quickly to touch on your story as well, is like I hear these types of testimonials all the time. And I think what's important to understand about nutritional therapy. So when we're using supplements, we should, and this kind of leads right into bioavailability, we should look at our products as, this is how I'm supporting my body's natural ability to heal and repair itself. So everybody's body is different. Everybody's body is going to get different results. We see a lot of incredible results like Trina has just shared, but it's because nutritional therapy equips the body to heal and repair itself. So what I love about nutritional therapy is it's like, it doesn't, the body doesn't heal one condition and keep another disease, right? Like the whole body heals, and the body needs the environment to heal. We can't heal in the same environment that created the disease. We have to change the environment. We have to do different protocol. So when we use concentrated whole food based products that are bioavailable, what we're doing is we're actually increasing the nutrients that the body has access to that it can then use to heal and repair itself. Products don't heal and repair the body does, but the body needs things in order for, like, nutrients, antioxidants, amino acids, healthy fats, even complex carbohydrates. The body needs nutrition in order for that process to happen. So bioavailability is the rate of absorption. So when I put something in my body, if it has poor bioavailability, it's not very much of it is actually going to get absorbed into my body, make a difference in my bloodstream, and most of it gets eliminated. So we see that obviously with the color of our urine when we take a multivitamin. It's just poorly recognized and absorbed. And we know statistically the absorption of man-made nutrients is quite low with good digestion. And I find that most people are not walking around with good digestion. When we get nutrients from food, the body recognizes them. They're in the right amounts. The nutrients inside food don't cause imbalances in other nutrients that man-made nutrients can cause because of how nutrients compete for absorption. If you're taking mega doses of certain nutrients, you can actually cause imbalances in other nutrients. We don't have that problem when our nutrition comes from food. That food actually balances, the nutrients actually balance each other out because they're perfectly formulated. So bioavailability really is how well does your body recognize, absorb, and make use of it? And does it add overall benefit to the body long term? And that's what whole food nutrients do. They are absorbed, because they're recognized, they get into the bloodstream, and they allow the body to utilize them in the ways that the body needs to utilize them to be in an optimal state of health.
Well, and one of the super bonuses is that the nutrients that are in the capsules are food. So let's be really clear. It's not your supplements from Costco. It's not your supplements from wherever. And I always say cheap food ain't good and good food ain't cheap, right? We are what we eat, right? I tell my clients this all the time. So what I noticed is I did not any longer have that glow in the dark pee because I was taking supplements with B12 and different things that I needed that were custom for myself under a naturopath. And I just simply stopped everything except for what I was deficient in. So iron deficiencies, different things, if you've had that, right? But when I would look into the toilet bowl and I was hydrated, so pee is really important to make sure that you're very hydrated. I didn't notice that glow in the dark pee. And when I would always go to the bathroom, I would say, I'm just urinating my money down the toilet, right? Because this is what happens. You're taking your supplements, you don't quite absorb them. And I'll also notice, and maybe you can just touch base on this a little bit, my gut was such a mess. And, I thought I was suffering from leaky gut. I was getting these rashes. And once I started the protocol on the capsules and the omega, like it took a little while and my body started to really behave differently. Foods didn't quite aggravate that would normally before or have that bloating. So what do you say to that? It's not just in our head. I know it's not in our head because I hear it's from my clients.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when symptomatology is changing, which is like your body's symptoms are different, we know that there's an impact happening, right? And I love that you mentioned clinical deficiencies because yes, if you have a clinical deficiency in iron, you need to take iron. If you have a clinical deficiency in B12, you need to take B12. The problem is a lot of people who are not clinically deficient are adding in these nutrients, and then they're creating imbalances because they're taking man-made nutrients that are out of balance, that are not necessary, and then they're actually creating more problems. That's why oftentimes if you take a bunch of supplements and you go back to a practitioner who recommends a bunch of isolates, your symptomatology has changed. So now they've got you on different supplements in addition to the supplements you're already taking. And then you go back and your symptomatology has changed again. And now your supplement program is changing. That is not an indication of a body that's healing. That is an indication of a body that's exhibiting different symptoms based on the protocol. So we really got to just focus on what gets in the body, what heals the body. Sorry, I went off topic there. What was the question?
No, I was just saying about how I had such positive changes in my body. And so many
Yes.
of my clients going, is this in my head? Like I feel better. My skin's clearing up. My
Yes.
hair
Okay.
was growing. So
Yes.
is it all in your, it's not all in your head.
No, sorry. And that is, yes, exactly. And that is correct. And you can base that especially if you're starting on products and, maybe following cleanses like Trina leads, and you'll have a baseline. Think about like, where am I starting? What are the things that I want to improve? Do I want to sleep better? Do I want to have more energy throughout the day? Am I suffering from moodiness? Do I have gut issues? Am I dealing with aches and pains? Get a bit of a baseline. That was what was so great about your journey, Trina, is like you had a solid baseline. Like you had blood work, we had, your symptoms, we knew how you were feeling, so that when the body starts to heal, and it does take time. Like I always tell clients, you're in this for at least 4 to 6 weeks before we're really going to know how well this is working, because that's how the body heals itself. Most people didn't become unwell overnight. They become unwell as a compound of a bunch of factors over a long period of time. So it does take time to heal the body, but really get that baseline in place, and then just check in with yourself and be like, oh, I am sleeping better, I'm feeling more rested, I have more energy, I'm tolerating more foods, my bowels are moving better, I have my immune system feels better. Like you'll start to notice those differences from that therapy.
Well, and one last question that I want to address, because there's a lot of confusion around this. I have a lot of clients who say, I'm going on a juice cleanse, I'm going to detox, I'm going to cleanse. And I always caution them, we want to really look at our body. Things are individual. I come from the approach of eat lots of fruits and vegetables, nuts and seed, all the things that come from the earth, source good meat if you're going to have that, switch some meat to plant-based, and really think about what you're putting into your body, hydrating. It doesn't have to be so complicated, but there are some risks and different things when you're cleansing and detoxing. So what would you say is maybe the difference between them, or how do we want to handle that? Obviously, there's a lot of stuff in the Shred program, which is incredible. It teaches you how, but how can we clear up some of that confusion that flies around? Here's a 10-day detox for you, and here's a juice cleanse.
And it is confusing to navigate. And there's 3 things that I teach my clients. Number 1, I teach them a program called Cleanse, Drain, and Detox. And this is actually right from the cancer program. I teach it with Lynn Hinton at Edison Institute. And this is the philosophy that we follow, because there is a process that you want to take the body through. Now, the good news is the recommendations that you're making, Trina, are actually what support all 3 processes. But when we get into doing these detoxes or these fasts, or, we can get ourselves into a bit of trouble if we don't have a really good understanding of how the body goes through these processes. So I teach something, and Lynn does as well, called Cleanse, Drain, and Detox. And it's a 3-step system. So cleanse is where we're opening the doors. So that's we're breathing well, we're urinating well, we're drinking lots of water, so our urine is clear, we're eliminating through our bowels well, we're not dealing with constipation, we're sweating well. All of the detox and all pathways, all the doors of the body are open, because the last thing you want to do is force your body into breaking down and trying to eliminate these toxins, but the doors are closed, right? Like you don't want to be harboring these active toxins that are stored in our body in an inactive form. You don't want to be doing these detoxes where you're dumping these toxins into the system and the system can't get rid of them. So cleanse is opening the doors. You want to make sure, again, you're properly hydrated, you're sweating, you're breathing, you're eliminating well. That has to happen. That is step one before you move on. And the good news is the quality of your diet often impacts all of those things. Throw in a little exercise and maybe some saunas and you're good to go, right? Some hot yoga even. Drain is moving the fluid in the body. So we have the lymphatic system, which is the sewage system of the body. And also between our blood cells, there's something called the extracellular matrix, which is fluid-like as well. And for a lot of people, they're dehydrated, they're malnourished, their systems are toxic. And this is now creates like this swampy environment. Nothing's really moving. So you also don't want to dump toxins into a swamp. Right. I had a friend who used a great example of a dirty bathtub. You're not going to add clean water to a dirty bathtub. You got to empty the bathtub, rinse it out, and then put clean water in. And I thought that's such a great example of that. So cleansing, opening the doors, draining, getting all of the fluid, getting the toxins, the lymphatic system moving, that's physical activity, moving that extracellular matrix. The quality of your foods is going to impact how well the fluid inside your body moves, how well your cardiovascular system is moving. Then we detox. So going to a health food store or going to a practitioner that wants to start you on detox, that's not ideal. We don't want to be doing things that support what we call metabolic detoxification pathways, where we're supporting the body's ability to release these stored toxins, which takes them from inactive to bioactive, into a swamp where the doors are closed. Like that's not going to make us feel better. Our body's going to have to recover from that. So we cleanse, we drain, and then we can look at, okay, how are we supporting detoxification? The really interesting thing about whole foods, specifically fruits and vegetables, is they actually do all three steps. There is some homeopathy that you can use to help with drainage as well, if that tends to be an issue for you. Talk to a practitioner about that. But your fruits and veg, they contain vitamins, minerals, fluids, antioxidants, fiber. They feed the good gut bacteria. They actually support, so the quality of your diet actually naturally supports all three steps, this cleanse, drain, and detox. Because the only thing our body actually needs for detoxification is nutrients that have to be bioavailable, come from food, that support these detox pathways, this phase 1 and phase 2 of these liver detox pathways. So if your foods are really clean, chances are your doors are going to be better open. You're probably going to suffer from less constipation. So you're eliminating well, you're drinking more fluid. The drainage is happening because you have all these nutrients and antioxidants that's keeping everything cleaner. And then you also have these nutrients that naturally support these detox pathways. And I think that's why people who follow a plant-based diet or mostly consume plants tend to have significantly lower risk for preventable disease. It's really just because they live in a cleaner body. They're doing the things that help their body. I always call it heal, repair, and detoxify. Those three things are happening based on the quality of our nutrition. And it's not a quick fix. It's not a 21 day, the shred and cleanse program, we do it over 10 days, but it's really just getting that lifestyle jump started, getting the wrong things out of the diet, putting more of the right things in, getting good supplementation in place. And then by the end of 10 days, that feels more routine and it becomes part of your lifestyle. That's essentially the goal. But yeah, you really want to do those three steps.
Well, I'm 9 months in, and I have to say it is such an incredible addition. So I'm so thankful that I met you. Where can people find you if they want to get more info about you?
Oh, absolutely. I would just head over to Instagram, go to nutrition.mum. You can find me there. And then for any program support, joining a cleanse, adding in fitness, just make sure you go back and talk to Trina because she's got everything all set up for you guys.
Yeah, and I'm Trina Medvis. At Instagram, you'll find me, and you'll find me at fitforfemales.com. So thank you so much, Alyssa. I hope that you're able to gain something from this for those of you watching, and reach out to us. We'd love to chat. Bye for now.
Awesome.